this Mister's series up against Kimo kind of feels like a David versus Goliath situation, Maiden. Like,
Mhm.
has Kimo got a shot here, right? Like, is this a close matchup in any way? Or is this most likely going to be our 3-0?
Um. Okay. I think that Mista, if you look at the ladder, Mista went 19-0, and then he just disappeared. He did what he needed to do, and he got out of there. He's been doing his training, he's been doing his thing, he's been prepping. My opinion is that Mista is a behemoth that maybe is unparalleled right now. And so, by all means, Kimo has a lot of tenure playing Age of Mythology. Okay, he's played maybe the most games out of all the players that are still in this tournament. He's maybe played the most volume within the last 5 years, which is something that's not on Retold, but he has just tons and tons of experience. Whereas Mist has been playing AoE4, other games, he's been farming, et cetera, et cetera. So there's maybe a world where Kimo can just rely on that grit, the grit, his lane, his experience, and so forth, to survive. And I think that's going to be the narrative: is that whether or not Kimo can survive.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
survive
Kimo.
but not thrive. It's a little bit worrisome what I'm hearing there. I mean, and also, I guess another issue with that, boy, it goes to what you talked about earlier in the Magic series, right? This whole idea that that bias plays into a negative experience. Retold is not the same game that original Age of Mythology was.
It's not at all. But here's the thing: watching Chemo pick up Retold and honestly struggle. But over the last week, he has become that beast we know and love from the Titans. So it feels like overnight almost. I was talking with Soup about this. Overnight, Chemo, something clicked in his brain and he's just like, I get it now. So I don't think that this is going to be as much of a walkover here for the Mister as a lot of people might be expecting. Chemo, in tournament, this guy's a beast and you can't underestimate him. I'm excited to watch it.
Absolutely, and we've already got the draft sorted out. Map draft by Surfshark has been ticked in. We've also got our full god drafts. We always like to kind of address this thing at the beginning because sometimes it does happen. Are we seeing any favorability in terms of the draft, Maiden? Do we feel like someone got a clear edge here?
Let me take a look real quick. The one I just want to point out something real quick. I don't know if it's an edge or anything. I'm just excited to see that Mista chose Freyr.
Yeah.
Everybody knows me. I'm a longtime Norse player, big Norse fan. So when they added Freyr to the Norse pantheon, I thought it was really exciting. Bursty plus Inferno, two of basically my number one and number two favorite god powers now. I just hope we see an Inferno and a Bursty usage. I'm particularly stoked for that. Nothing really sticks out to me too much in the draft. I kind of, maybe the raw pick on Chemo's side, maybe that's a little bit of the legacy bias. We talked about the raw pick on when we were going over the Magic series. Ra really hasn't had a lot of success in Retold just yet, so maybe that's a small surprise on my side. I don't know. I'm sure he's prepared something, however, but yeah, I'm not too surprised, honestly, on either draft. Nothing sticks out too much aside from Freyr to me.
I think maybe Kimo showing a bit of his comfort as well, boy, like opening up with the double Greek pick, which I believe is his most played faction.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the top players and even some of the like mid-level players have been talking about the strength, the power of Greek just in their unit compositions alone. They've got the highest quality of unit. But to be honest, Mister's also been pretty vocal about and showing how good some of these other gods are. He actually played on a separate account on the ladder for just a little bit more. So he didn't just go 19-0. He also went 19-0 plus another kind of 15-0 as well, playing purely just Isis. And he's got that comfort pick, so to speak, there. Mr. believes that Isis is the best god in Retold at the moment, and he's going to be very, very happy to get a win with that one, or at least have a game with that one in this series.
Yeah, I love some of the other kind of picks. Like I think we can see a level of tempoed aggression available for both players for maps like Ghost Lake, which is maybe a little bit more open, a bit more vulnerable. Poseidon seems maybe like a shoe in there for Mister. But let's focus in a little bit on our opening game here. Megalopolis, we've got Loki versus Zeus. I think these are two of the most played gods, I want to say, so far in the Tournament Maiden. Mainly, I'd say because things like Odin and Set seem to be so frequently banned, Poseidon as well. do we see anything clear being revealed here? Right? Is there an edge to be kind of reaped from this, or what are our expectations going in?
Well, it's such a Megalopolis is such an open map. Kimo historically has played a lot of Egyptian, a pretty boomy player, and so I wonder if that's something Loki. Again, we've talked about Loki's not really figured out, but still, there's so much potential just being a Norse god in general to get the map control, put on aggression, play harassment style, and so on and so forth. So I am inclined to think that Zeus is strong, unquestionably. Um, you know, Greek is strong in general, but I think this maybe favors Mista a little bit. It depends on his style. He's on 7 levels higher or more than I am, so I can't even understand what he's going to do with the Loki here. By all means, um, but yeah, I think that's maybe taking advantage of how open it is really opens up Kimo to not being able to boom and maybe struggling a little bit, but we'll see.
Oh, about to find out. It's almost time to begin this best of 5 single elim series. Mr. seeming like the end boss, the unbeatable, the uncontestable in everyone's mind. But can Kimo have the mental fortitude and execution to provide possibly the biggest upset of the tournament? It's time to find out.
And we begin spawning in the left side of the map, picking Loki. He is the undisputed strongest player in Retold thus far, has not dropped a single game this tournament thus far. It's TheMista. His opponent today, no stranger to the spotlight, one of the most winningest players in Age of Mythology tournament history. Picking Zeus in this game, his name is Kimo. We're spawning it on the map Megalopolis. Maiden, I'm excited. What's going to happen here?
I honestly, you mentioned one thing real quick that I want to touch on, Boyd, that I completely missed. Kimo is one of the most winningest tournament players within recent history. So by all means, Mista might be the final boss, says Pigeon. I like the way he put it. But by all means, Kimo ain't no joke, people. Kimo ain't no joke. I personally think that Kimo reminds me a little bit of Magic. In that once he gets into tournament settings, he really goes into beast mode, and he takes things seriously. So by all means, he's not going to keel over and die. Mista, Magic, Recon, Matrews, doesn't matter his opponent. He's going hard, absolutely. I already mentioned that I'm not sure I don't know if how well Zeus is going to thrive here on this map specifically. It'll be interesting to see who gets map control. If you're new to this map, you're unfamiliar with this map, there's actually an uneven amount of settlements. So if we look at the mini-map, you can see that there's 5 unclaimed settlements. That means somebody's going to get a TC advantage, which means a slight population advantage as well. If Mista's able to claim map control, that's just going to catapult him even further in front.
Yeah, but the thing is though, to just dive a little bit into this matchup. Every single time I've played this matchup, every single time I've seen this matchup, it always just results in the most chaotic game you've ever seen. It's one of my favorites. You get the Zeus player going for an Athena, going for Hoplites, Toxotes, trying to put a whole bunch of pressure on, making those Minotaurs out. The Loki players making those Hursa, making those raiding cavalry, those speedy units, getting Hall of Thanes to speed up his unity even more, and just getting really, really raidy and trying to control the map perfectly. It becomes a very, very insane game. Now, this is a different game to the Titans after all, but a lot of this stuff does still kind of reign true. I'll be interested to see if Mr. is going to go for something different, maybe try Heimdall out here. There are some very, very fun technologies. Strike that. He's going for Forseti. So the question then goes over to over to Kimo here. Is he going to go for Hermes or is he going to go for Athena? And at what point is he going to be advancing? This is a very late advance from Kimo.
Indeed. There we go. We do have Athena coming in. There is one thing, Boyd. If we were watching this on the Titans, the old AOM, I would feel a little bit uncomfortable on the Loki side. There's one big crux in this game is a restoration on a second gold mine. So by all means, I've been talking about how Loki, map control, there's hunt and resources all around the map and so on and so forth. That's a nice little relic right there. Okay, that Thundercloud Shell might be really nice for the Loki player to get against Tox potentially. Anyway, there is some potential for Kimo as the Zeus player to play good enough defense. He's got enough food and whatnot in his base. He could play good enough defense in his base, and then push out with the restoration and threaten a second gold mine of Mista. I believe in Mista, by all means, but that's kind of the big crux that I would be thinking about if we were watching this back in the old days.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the easy way to play here for Kimo. Yes, Minotaur nerf, but they're not nerfed stat-wise. So getting them out and using them, it's a great idea. That second gold mine, they're all forward. And they're all forward in a straight line. Sneaking a gold mine on this map, it's probably not going to be happening. Also, Kimo can get himself out of Pegasus and make sure he's going to be scouting all of that stuff there as well. So the question is, what can Mr. do to combat this? Do you go for a heroic gauge with flaming weapons to try and win a fight, get that same sort of pressure, but flip it over onto Kimo, or do you just have to duke it out in the classical age and try and just win some fights here? We'll have to wait and see. Kimo going to be starting this one off very, very defensively. Military Academy, archery range against the Great Hall, Longhouse of TheMista. Both players are going to be countering each other's units, and it's all going to come down to micro.
One thing I can say, Boyd, is that if Kimo eventually starts pushing out and not playing so defensively, Mista's base is pretty nice. Chickens, berries, gold mine, all fairly protected, so he's fairly comfortable and confident in that manner. Again, I don't really see Kimo. Kimo isn't really a super aggressive player, more of a boomy player, maybe more of a timing attack type of a player. So I think he's probably just going to chill in his base until the time comes.
Well, yeah, it's looking like neither player wants to leave their base just yet. I mean, and this is allowing. I mean, no player is getting an advantage here. TheMista is going to now start trying to push out across the map. There is some not close hunt, but there is some hunt that is somewhat close to Kimo's base here that he can defend fairly easily. But the moment he steps out, that then opens up the back of his base to get raided. So does he just say, all right, I'm just going to stay in my base. I'm just going to keep all my villagers alive and try and just take the L on a little bit of a resource loss there? Or does he try and risk and try and outplay those raids that Mr. might be going for? But at the moment, population slightly in favor of Norse. This is fairly standard in these sorts of matchups to be at that point there. But yeah, Kimo needs to get those resources spent and try and get himself into a position that he can hold this hunt, because he's moving out onto it. And I'm sure that Mr. is going to be wanting to put pressure on as soon as he possibly can.
Are you surprised to see him go out for hunt?
A little bit. I mean, you can get yourself husbandry and just stay in your base until like 7, 8, 9 minutes. Idea being that you're not trying to kill your opponent until they leave their base. So why put yourself in that necessary to be defensive position when you can just say, no worries, we'll just spam units and see what's going to happen. But we do have right now Mista putting some pressure on to try and take out an archery range. It's a little bit of a weakness there for Kimo, but Kimo, he's pushing out across the map and he says, I'm going to try and put some pressure onto TheMista. But TheMista sees this tiny army and it's like, what are you doing here? I am going to come and get a little bit of a revenge slap here with those raiding cavalry.
Indeed, very nice, that Minotaur. The special attack of the Minotaur is just bonkers strong, dude. And we see a restoration. This game is not going how I think either of us predicted, honestly. Kimo moving out early, maybe preemptively. Early restoration, not on the second gold mine. He's trying to survive this fight. It looks like Mista doing a great job micro-wise. Looks like he probably has the advantage here at the end of the day. Minotaur getting picked off pretty darn quickly. Still trying to hang in this game a little bit, micro those archers, the Tox. Things are looking good for Mista. Again, Boyd, is this what we expected?
Well, this is just Kimo missing a fairly big timing here, and he's now used his restoration. I don't think he lost that fight, but I don't think he won that fight either. I wanted to comment on how sick TheMista's micro was there, pulling those raiding cavalry back. But in all honesty, I think that might have been a mistake. He should have just rushed straight onto the Toxotes there, because they were doing a good amount of damage towards the end of that fight, and that actually allowed Kimo to turn that one around a little bit towards the end there. But Yeah, Kimo's lost his bolt. He's lost his restoration. He's still got his hunt. He's now equal in population, but why is he equal in population? Well, Mister's going to be going heroic age. He doesn't need to hang. He says, all right, you've used that god power. I'm going to now flip the script. I'm going to be going for the gold stuff. Does he go Bragi? Does he go Njord?
Bragi it is. Bragi it is. Good eye vodka. Bragi it is. So I suppose we're seeing flaming weapons on a second gold mine of Kimo. How is he going to defend it? You know, where is his second gold mine? They're all throughout the center of the map. He doesn't have any map control right now. He maybe has a small window. If he knew it was coming, he maybe has a small window to push out, drop a couple of towers, mass army as fast as possible. Maybe 900 gold left in the bank, so he's got some to play with. But that's gonna vanish a lot faster than he expects. Dionysus is coming in. Good eye vodka. You know, Bronze pretty darn strong. Is it strong enough to fight flaming weapons?
Oh, actually, we see a huge raid coming through from Mister. Just picking off one village that opens up that back of the base there for the Mister to raid, and Kimo's now gonna take his army over there to finish off that wall. But in terms of the 1 versus 1, the trade, yes, Bronze actually does win that fight, but Bronze can only hit the units that are on the map. Flaming weapons hits everything.
I mean, all the military units benefit from flaming weapons. So if you bronze one army, you're only bronzing one army. So, you know, one way to play around that, if you're the flaming weapons player, is to have, you know, raiders on another location, you know, hitting a wood line, multiple armies, all benefiting from that flaming weapons. He's trying to poke out, do a little bit of damage, but Kimo's done a good enough job securing his base. He hasn't really had much eco damage aside from those hunters and that one Vilpic on the that wall builder that we saw. There's Dionysus in. We see a couple of great halls. The Hydra looking very proud, very pretty. A couple of great halls coming out. Looks like we got Goaty coming out. Hersier coming out. More Goaty for Themis. Yeah, he's looking for the kill now.
The Hydra getting sniped here is actually a very, very big deal. This is such a huge unit to just be losing out in the middle of nowhere. But Kimo, he can now start getting those Paspers out. That's going to be a big, big help for him. Not in killing off the raiding cavalry, but also just being able to rush in and take out some of those thrown axemen if Mister's not paying too much attention. The other unit here that that Kimo should really be thinking about getting, Prodromus. That unit is going to really make the life of the Mister very, very challenging here. But, I mean, Kimo's playing it really nicely at the moment. He's got a really decent army. He's got that bronze. He can push forward, get a nice amount of damage in. The Mister, he's got to make some really good decisions here. Otherwise, he might end up taking a lot of damage very, very shortly here. As Kimo, he's pushing across the map. The raiding cavalry will be swinging around onto the back of this army as Mister is going to be going in for a bit of a collapse there. Flaming weapons gets dropped. Bronze going to be getting thrown in as well as the units are going to be attempting to take this fight as best as Kimo possibly can. But the Mister bringing his raiding cavalry back in onto the back. That Hydra there getting sniped down by the Goaty. There's so many of them in here. And not only that, the battle boar is going to be getting huge amounts of damage. Kimo, he's going to be losing all of his units here. Mister hard wins that fight. Insane value for the Mister.
Indeed, it looks like that's maybe all she wrote. There we go, Mista with victory number 1 in this series. Bravo, man. Bravo. That was, I think that it was a little bit of a misplay. You can bronze impact Smith units. So he basically lost that Hydra. It barely had any HP. When it was walking across the map, it almost got picked off. I think maybe that fight would have been a teensy tiny bit better for Kimo if he had that Hydra at full HP. But yeah, just look at the total military resource value here. You know, Mista drops down initially, but bumps back up. It's just a straight free fall for Kimo, unfortunately. Bronze wasn't enough this time, boy.
No. I mean, that all came down to positioning, in all honesty. There's no reason there for Kimo to be needing to put pressure on. Like, he's actually the one who just needs to get, when you don't have restoration, you're the one who needs to be kind of sitting back and just saying, let's just make sure I get a good fight wherever it happens and build up to that full population, because you've got the stronger units there. I don't think Kimo really read the situation very well. And the Mister, I mean, he shows off why he's so great there. And that's just unit control, taking good fights, decision making, even multitasking is on another level here. Strategy, all of that stuff just culminates into an incredibly beautiful fight there for Mister at the end of it. What else can we say?
I think that Kimo maybe pushed out preemptively twice. And I know that, the restoration fight, he didn't necessarily lose that straight up. I think that, however, using your restoration and not simply winning the fight means that it essentially is a lost fight, if you understand what I'm saying. So I think that he went out, he kind of got caught, needed to use restoration so that he didn't just die, recovered, went out, and he got caught. I think it's kind of as simple as that.
It is really, but we're going to be moving into the next game very, very shortly here. There's no brace for these players, and we're going to be watching Freyr versus Ra here in this one. This is going to be an eco off of epic proportions. Man, have you seen this matchup yet, or is this going to be a first time for you as well?
I think it's a first time for me. I think if we look at the stats of the ladder, Freyr has a fairly low pick rate. For the top 100, 150 of the ladder, Freyr has a fairly low pick rate. Kind of a struggles of the win rate as well. Similar story for Ra. Both of those gods got slight reconfigured with the patch ever so slightly, but I don't think I've actually seen this matchup just yet. Real quick, a couple of well, we can wait to talk about the bonuses of Freyr once we jump into the actual game. But yeah, I think it's you mentioned it's going to be a boomy game. Freyr, we know, is really defensive, very defensive. So I think we can definitely expect kind of a slow burn, if that makes sense. Maybe there's a world where Ra goes for a Sphinx spam, possibly to put on some pressure and get some eco going behind it. I'm not really sure what to expect per se, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I definitely think that Freyr got the better boom. If I think in terms of just economic bonuses plus the Norse edge on economy by having dwarves, you're going to come out in front in terms of resource total. But just because you're in front of resource total, that doesn't mean that you're going to get a win in the game. Ra's got those axemen, Ra's got those sphinx, or potentially also wadgets, and shifting sands shenanigans can come through as well. And also we have to talk about the Pitsukos that are a little bit stronger now as well. Plus, the late game for Ra, I mean, we've seen it time and time again for Kimo. He knows how to play it. So if he gets there, it's going to be tough for TheMista to finish the game, especially on a map like Alfheim. So it's going to be interesting to see if Kimo can get through the troubles in this early game and get into the point where he's going to be having some success.
You mentioned the Axemen. Egyptian
Mhm.
Axemen were buffed with the recent patch. I can't remember the
Yep.
exact stats, but they're that much stronger against Norse. The Freyr can go up through Freya for the classical
Yep.
age god, minor god, or Uller, the new one. If he goes up through Uller, that gives him the Asgardian Bastion god power, which it allows you to build a cool looking hill fort in the classical age. That's not very beneficial, however, against Egyptian, aside from maybe protecting a gold mine, protecting a base, because it gives you access to Huskarls. Now, since Egyptian has the stronger, now even stronger Egyptian axemen, I don't really see that really paying off all too well, in all sincerity. So I would really like to see Mista utilize all the new features of Freyr, the new minor gods, the new god powers, new minor gods, all that stuff. But I don't know if Asgardian Bastion or Uller is the best play against Egyptian. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the power inside of Freya with the Valkyrie is so good that even though the fun of this new god Ulla, it's really useful. That Asgardian Bastion will secure a gold mine for you. Plays around a whole bunch of raids that could potentially happen later. But I mean, I'm yet to see it being incredibly strong. However, Aegir in the heroic age, that is a power spike and a half. Rock Giant is an insane myth unit. The upgrades that come with that god are insane as well, and it's going to help you immensely. I'm really excited to see what Kimo is going to come up with here, though, because we don't get to see Ra very much, and nor do we get to see Ra versus Norse. I do have a inkling that we're going to be seeing him go for the Bast Sphinxes, But you know, if if the Mister wants to play a boom war, Kimo's going to be very happy to just drop town centers and take this game as slow as is humanly possible.
Indeed, it looks like we're just about to start here, Boyd. Alfheim, coming your way, folks. Is Retold ready to go? Maybe? Maybe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sporting in the right side of the map in the blue color, playing as Frere. His name is TheMista. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Ra. His name is Kimo. The map is Alfheim. It's game number 2 of this best of 5 series for the Red Bull Wololo El Reynado Age of Mythology Qualifier Edition. This is the round of 8 right now, Maiden. You got to be thinking that Mister has the momentum right now. How can Kimo change this around, swing the game back into his favor, and figure this one out? What do you reckon? What are you seeing?
Well, he's got to. I honestly don't really know. It depends on what he's going for. The map is. You and I were talking about potential for him to go Sphinxes. And Alfheim is typically a pretty boom-friendly map with all of the cliffs, very wallable positions. But if you look at the mini-map, all of the cliffs are actually around the exterior of the map, the perimeter of the map. And so it looks to be a pretty open map through the center, which might play nicely into the hand of Sphinx play. So it'll be interesting, if he actually goes for that. Will our prediction finally be true? Maybe, maybe not. But that could possibly be something that Mista struggles with. This blue crystal shard, that's definitely a nice relic for one of the players to grab. You were talking about a boom war. That's definitely going to help with the boom war. Hack armor of infantry. If that relic right there, if Kimo gets that relic, the hack armor, stronger town centers as well, cheaper town centers. If he gets that hack armor upgrade for his axes, they're just going to be little devils. Eventually, if he ends up going through Horus as well, those things could be little devils, and I have no idea how Freyr's going to handle those bad boys.
I can't. I'm actually watching some of these relics, and I feel like it's the first time I'm seeing them. I don't know if you saw that. The Secrets of the Titans relic, that reduces your age up cost by 10%. This relic is like if there is a tier above S triple plus tier, it would be in it. That's insane. I don't think either player has actually spotted it. Kimo's not done any scouting, so there's probably no way that he's going to be getting that relic in this game. But if Mystic gets that, he is going to be really, really enjoying that fast, quick teching. And we'll see. There's also that cheaper town center relic there as well. And I know what Mr. wants to do. What Mr. wants to do here is he wants to get the Asgardian Bastion up, protecting a town center and a gold mine, get himself 2 town centers up, and say, you know what, let's just have a boom off because I know how good this god is with all of those economic upgrades. And that relic over there is going to really help him. But both gods here, they're playing blind. Both of these players are not scouting that much. One Berserk only for the Mr. Kimo, leaving his Pharaoh and his Priest in his main base, trying to get as much economic value as he possibly can. And we do indeed see Mr. going through Ulla, and we're seeing Kimo going through Tar.
Darn it, no Sphinxes. Well, not darn it, but darn it, prediction incorrect. He's going for Ptah. So does that mean he's planning on going for the boom, going for a second town center fast farm situation? He's got a whole bunch of vills on gold. It looks like he's maybe prepping for it, honestly.
Well, there is one thing here that could catch the Mister out, and that is a Shifting Sands cheese onto a potential position where an Asgardian Bastion and a town center are getting built up. Now, you have to basically have map hacks to kind of nail this every single time, or you have to be sending your priests out and getting obelisks up in the middle of the map to really know what's going to be going on. Now, Mist hits the second age. He's scouting out without Draugr. He already sees the map. I'm sure he's going to drop that Asgardian Bastion down as fast as he possibly can. But where is the big question? As relics are going to start getting picked up as well. Villagers moving up to the top side there to grab the Caribou. Kimo, he's going to be looking for a town center very, very quickly down the bottom, as we do see a longhouse coming down for the Mister, making it a little bit slow. Asgardian Bastion on the way. Mister says he's all fine now. All good.
I learned something yesterday or the day before, by the way. You don't have to, technically, you don't have to actually build the Asgardian Bastion or the little hill fort. Technically, it passively builds itself very, 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 very slowly. So you can use your units to actually build it. But it does build itself extremely slowly. And there we go. So Kimo is going for the 2TC play here, bringing a couple of cows as well. I'm not surprised to see the hill fort popping up right here. This is a pretty juicy spot right here. He's got the caribou patch, he's got the gold mine, he's got the town center back there. You know, we don't expect Kimo to put pressure on Mista anytime soon. So he's going to be able to chill, get his eco ups. By the way, the Freyr, one of the bonuses of Freyr is that his upgrades are all 50% cheaper, but they take 150% longer to research. So you can get them really quickly, but it takes them some time to actually finish and pay off for themselves. So by all means, he's of course going to be focusing on his eco, but still it takes a while to pay off. Anyways, we see the town center actually coming up. Very nice. That hill fort probably going to finish up itself. Yeah, we're just going to chill and enjoy the nice scenery for the next several minutes until things actually ramp up.
Yeah, and Kimo now, he's getting Shadoof. So he's probably also going to be going in with a pretty quick plow. One thing that happens here with Ra when you go for this fast farm is your gold mine expires very, very quickly. Now, I'm not sure if Kimo is actually doing this or not. He's got a fair few villagers on gold. There's the farms coming down. So he is going for this fast farm. But all of these rains in tandem after each other gives you so much food. The problem is, though, with spending all the gold on the farms and then you get onto a second gold mine, your opponent is going to be able to put pressure onto you much, much earlier. But because the Mister is going for a boom as well, Kimo's going to be completely fine here. So this is really, really nice.
Indeed. And just a quick sanity check here, Boyd. Shadoof is the god power that, and we see Rain coming in for that food boost on his farms. Shadoof is a god power, the upgrade that makes farms cheaper. Is it still the same? Are farms still 47 gold? Was Shadoof changed in Retold at all? I haven't checked.
Shadoof is making your farms very, very cheap. They're going down to like 30 gold, I believe. 35 gold. And they
50%?
Yeah, it's a huge boost. Very, very strong technology. In fact, all unique technologies in Retold got a little bit of a makeover. So if you think that one's good, just wait until you look at some of the other ones.
That is OP, man. Farms used to cost 40 after Shadoof. Farms used to cost 47 gold. That's what, like a 25% reduction or something like that. So now it's 50%. That's pretty huge. That does save a whole lot of gold, in all sincerity, going for that farm boom. And we got Sobek coming in, heroic age. Sobek coming in for Kimo. That means we're gonna see gators. We're gonna see Petsukos. We're gonna see a stupid rock, the stupid flying unit. So stupid. But we are gonna see it. At least one of them, at least. Medium cavalry coming in.
People have been asking for a scout for Ra for ages, and the devs listened and they gave them a heroic age scout. It's fantastic.
I don't want to hear it, Boyd. I don't want to hear it. You're gonna get me triggered on Rogs. Get out of here with that garbage. Anyway, starting to wall up. I like this from Mista. Starting to wall up. He's not really taking map control per se, but we've been focusing on the eco. Yes. The map was looking fairly open, but still, there is plenty of walling potential. I like that he's walling that right side, focusing his army on the top side, walling the right and bottom side. I definitely like that a lot. Things are starting to get serious here, folks. We got military buildings coming down. We got medium cav and infantry for Mista. Things are getting serious, but I don't really see a whole lot of action in the near future. It's still going to take some time.
Well, if you take a look at this, it's not Aegir coming through here for the Mister. He's going through Bragi, and he's ready to spam these units out. I don't know if this means he's going to be going for a heroic timing with flaming weapons, or if he's going to try and tie this in to getting Vidar with that Inferno to come in and just blow everything else up, and then sweep through with flaming weapons to kind of clean Kimo up. But yeah, Kimo, he's in the heroic age. He hasn't been touched yet. He's got everything he can possibly want here. He's gotten through the challenging part of playing Ra, which is literally just getting to the heroic age without getting touched. And yeah, he's going to be having a good game of it right now, as the Rock will be picking up that Petsukos and then going to be going to look for something else. The Rock did get a slight buff in that it takes 2 seconds to load things up, but I'm not sure what Kimo wants to do here. As he says, all right, that takes too long. I'm going to go for a scout now with this bad boy.
Make up your mind, Kimo. Make up your mind. His mind is made. He's out and about with that beautiful looking bird. I'm not gonna lie, the rock does look amazing here in Retold. The graphics of all the myth units are so incredible, but I still hate the unit. Anyway. If we could here in just a second see TheMista's his scouting. Does he see the gold situation of Kimo? Because yes, Kimo does have a nice little situation with his double farms, double TC, but his gold mines are a little bit exposed. So an early Flaming Weapons could possibly kick him off gold, meaning he's only has to trade for his gold income with the market. I don't know if he sees it, Floyd. I don't know if he sees it.
I don't. Well, I mean, Norse when you don't have those ravens or that spy, Norse plays pretty blind. So I would imagine he really doesn't know what's going on behind those walls that he's put up on the front here. He sees a little bit actually. He actually sees pretty much everything necessary there. But yeah, Kimo right now, he is going to be on the front foot. He's clicking those reins on repeat. 45 favor for the next cast of that one. This is the second time I believe he's used it. So he's going to have a huge amount of food, and he's going to be able to go to the Mythic Age very, very shortly. The question is, do you go through Horus now, or do you go through Osiris and try and hang on here? It's Cool and Bursty coming through, and Kimo is going to have to retreat back.
I think that was maybe a little preemptive, using Golan Bursty like that, but oh, we got a shifting sands over onto the army, denying the town center potentially here. Those camels are going to be pretty sick, it looks like, against this army. They are
Flaming Weapons, mate. Flaming Weapons is down, and that means he's going to be able to clean up the rest of those units here, but that's the entire power spike of TheMista gone.
Wow. 2 god powers used, Golan Bursty. One of the best new units and god powers. It's so cool. That defensive pig, boar, whatever you want to call it. He gets slower, by the way. His speed slows down the farther away from a town center he gets. So he can just sniff the camels. That's just about it. Anyway, that was a huge shifting sands. A, it saved his army from Golan Bursty. B, forces the Flaming Weapons. I think that was a really big shifting sands. That was huge.
Yep, yeah, and TheMista, he knows, like, if he loses that army there, he's going to lose a huge momentum in this game. But Kimo now, he's clicked up Osiris. He's only got 2 monuments up. I'd love to see him get that 3rd and 4th monument going. This is something that is so important for Egyptian players in Retold. Favor is very, very huge here. But what comes with Osiris? You get that Son of Osiris, which is a beast of a unit. But more importantly, you unlock mummies, which... I don't know if you've seen them very much or not yet, Maiden, but they send a splash damage effect out, and every single unit that gets affected by that poison damage, if it gets picked off, gets replaced with a minion. So you can really turn a fight on its head with a couple of those in your army, especially combining them with that Son of Osiris splash damage or chain lightning damage that he does there as well.
Indeed. He's already. Don't forget about the camel upgrade as well. He's already going for a handful of camels. Son of Osiris camels, pretty darn strong themselves as well. By all means. Don't forget, but still.
All right, so Mr. He's trying to poke at the moment. He does have a lot of upgrades already, but Kimo, he might be getting baited out as Mr. is trying to pull another classic Mr. engagement right now. 2 separate control groups of units pushing through. Kimo going to be retreating back. He's trying to wait on this Osiris here. It's such a grueling 2-minute wait for a Mythic Age to come through, but it will be, Kimo will be keeping himself alive now. He will be able to get to that Mythic Age. He will be able to have that Son of Osiris. TheMista has not got any sort of timing here to make anything happen once that Son of Osiris is in. As another rain going to be coming down for even more food for Kimo. And TheMista, he hasn't got a single farm down. So Kimo's just getting all this value for himself.
Yeah, rain boosts your farm production, but it also boosts your allies and your enemy production as well. So Mista, if he did have a couple of farms, he could be benefiting at least a little bit from the rain. He does have 3 town centers, 76 villagers. He's got a lot of eco, but yeah, he's at a little bit of a wall right now because he has a really strong army, but he doesn't have the eco to support the army long term. He's got to get that infrastructure down. He's got to get the farms down in order to have that long-term economy. And to get that many farms down for the bigger population numbers in Retold, he needs a lot of wood, man. He needs a whole lot of wood.
Yeah, he needs a lot of wood, and we are also seeing, though, here, TheMista is going Vidar, and
yes,
it's all going to come down to the god power usage here in this game. Vidar Inferno, it's like a nuke getting sent onto a location. You've got to really, really play around it here. But the mystery is holding off. It's like we said, 2 minutes is a long time here, and Kimo is taking this opportunity to be as aggressive as he possibly can. He's got champion chariots in. He's making spearmen, axemen coming through as well. Catapults to try and push through onto this position to boot, as the raiding cavalry are sniping some things on the bottom of the map. But Kimo's got 3 town centers now. He's got a bunch of buildings out, I'm sure. His resources are really, really low. He does need to be getting all of his upgrades. Otherwise, the Mister is going to be a beast to deal with. And let's not forget to mention that at some point in this game, the Mystery is going to be getting a technology which boosts every single one of his units by 10% HP. That's a very, very big tech to grab for him there.
Very true. Very, very true. So at given time, he's going to have a really strong army, but he's got to get there, man. He's got to get there. Vidar, how much it's Vidar? We got maybe 30 seconds or so before Vidar actually comes in. Here's the thing with Inferno, boys. If you haven't seen Inferno before, buckle up. But also, Inferno can be the best usage of Inferno is usually when you're pushing. You can use it on pushing a forward town center, forward Migdal, something like that. If right now, Kimo has the initiative, he's the one that's pushing. And so, which means if Mista's going to use his Inferno God power early, it's going to be against this army in the middle of the map, which could be good to try and pick off Son of Osiris, but it also means that his army can potentially dodge it as well.
Here we go. Going for it right now as the Inferno gets clicked down. Chariot Archer is going to be retreating away. Son of Osiris doesn't actually get impacted by it, so it gets left in the center there to get opened up, and all the units getting completely destroyed here. And the Mister says, "Go."
Go, go, go indeed! The dragon is after the Son of Osiris as well. It looks like this Freyr army is completely decimating. Kimo! Can Kimo keep his Son of Osiris alive? Maybe, but one Son of Osiris against this giant army. 141 population, 139 pop in army right now, Boyd. Holy smokes, Inferno is awesome. I'm sweating, Boyd. I'm sweating. It's amazing. There goes Son of Osiris, and that might be the game as well. Holy smokes. Yeah.
Kimo drops down to 117 population, Maiden. He's got no military left. Mister is at 6.7k military resource value at the moment, and he is not going to be stopping in this game. Kimo calls it. That was such a brutal power spike for the Mister. I think we know now why Inferno got hit with a nerf recently. That was disgusting.
Disgustingly beautiful. Oh, mama, my favorite god power these days, folks. It's fun to watch. It's fun to use. It's a beautiful god power. It does a lot of damage. I was talking about how it's maybe possible to dodge the Inferno because the wolf kind of runs, and then explodes. So it does give you a couple of seconds to just get out of dodge and try and avoid the explosion, but Kimo's army was too slow and doesn't avoid the nuke, and oh boy, he got nuked hard right there. What an explosive finish to a game.
I mean, Mister is just showing why he is currently considered the best in this game, and it's just calculated. It is strong. It is mechanical. His strategy is on point. He knows exactly what the matchup is and what he needs to do to find the win. He says, I don't need to do anything. If you're not going to attack me, I'm just going to sit back. I'm just going to put some pressure on, do a little bit of poking here and there, find my victory by using that Freyr unique ability of having the cheaper upgrades. He has so much technology in that game, and that, I mean, even though the Inferno kind of killed off all of the units there or did so much damage, the technology really carried him through as well in the end there.
I gotta say that I don't think Kimo really played. I don't think he really necessarily made any mistakes or anything like that. Like Mista was on point, wasn't making mistakes, etc., etc., etc. But at the same time, it's not like Kimo's making a mistake. Really, the only mistake that I think you could claim is that he did not anticipate Inferno, and so he maybe moved out, maybe
Right.
preemptively, but he's trying to hit his own timing. Are you what?
Naden,
What?
Kimo could have shifting sands out of that Inferno.
Oh snap!
It only cost 50 favor. That
Oh,
was the
snap.
mistake. That's there. That option was there for Kimo to dodge that, be completely fine. I don't know if he had the favor at the moment, but like I said, get those extra monuments down. Having 50 favor in the bank, that's not hard.
Oh, dude, that would have been sick. That would have been that would have been disgusting counterplay. Shifting sands out of the inferno. I would have been heartbroken. I would have been heartbroken, man. Man, that would have been crazy cool though. Oh man. Hindsight's 2020, buddy. Hindsight's
Well,
2020.
it's 2-0 now for the Mister. We're going to be moving into the next map on Mirage here. And I, I'm looking at this going, oh dear. Isis for the Mister against Gaia for Kimo. There's so much brutality that you have to play around when playing against Isis and Gaia. We'll see what Kimo can come up with, but you've got Ancestors Eclipse, you've got Meteor, you've got Valley of the Kings, Elephant spam, Chariot spam, Camel Rider spam. All of that stuff is going to be able to come out. This is going to be a very, very spicy game. What do you expect here from Kimo to try and figure out how to get that defense?
What do I expect from Kimo? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Eh, I'm at a little bit of a loss for words here, Boyd. I'm still on a high from Inferno. That's all I can think about is that giant explosion. Next game, next game. ISIS. Okay, sorry, next game. Next game. I don't know, man. I don't know. Gaia on Mirage. We saw it from Recon, so clearly there's something that that I'm missing in Gaia's strength. So it's not the first time we've seen Gaia on Mirage, but I just think
Mm.
that ISIS has so much sharper teeth that is Gaia's skin tough enough to handle the sharp teeth of ISIS?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know, man.
the thing here for Gaia is you get access to this bite of the shark technology, you get access to those Momillo, and with that extra fishing economy, what I can probably see going well for the Gaia here is classical age, pure Murmillo, Gold Starve attempt. Lots of Murmillo heroes to deal with the Scorpion Men spam, the Ancestors Eclipse. It forces the Isis player to have to make those Axemen, which they don't have any pushing power, so you can just kind of pull back and say, all right, no worries. But yeah, this is an option here for Gaia. I think if Gaia wants to sit back and boom, she's going to be getting a lot of pain in this game.
Indeed, we did mention that the axes are just a teensy bit buffed, so they may not have the pushing power, but you're talking about, aggression and gold starve and whatnot, which is absolutely possible for sure, especially with the upgrade and fish eco to boot. But they're at least to play defense and secure for Mista to secure his own gold mines, town center, etc. They can at least play defense if he truly does end up going for Merm spam.
Yep. Well,
And at
we
the
got
same
look.
time, Boyd, on Mirage, we saw
Mm,
if you think back to the Recon Rappel series, I know that Rappel stayed in his base as the Thor player. He used his Dwarven Gold Mine, and so he didn't need to really go out to gold until after Ragnarok. But think back to where his gold mine was positioned after Ragnarok. It was down on that backside of his base. So I'd say that the gold mines are fairly can be nicely positioned here. So going for a gold starve, I don't know if I'm super confident in something like that. For sure, Gaia can maybe put on some pressure, complicate things, kick him off of some hunt, not just playing the containment game. Instead of really going for the gold starve, playing the containment game, I could absolutely see that, be viable for Kimo. But I don't know. Again, Isis just has so much, just sharp intensity to her.
yeah, I mean, one thing that we probably won't be seeing is like a straight rush for the Mythic Age from the Isis, which is what was kind of dominating the ladder a little bit over the past week or so now. Since that Mythic Age is going to take an extra minute or 30 seconds to come through, you got enough time to prepare for it. Feels a lot easier to kind of play against. Plus, your gold mine is expiring around that time you're going to the Mythic Age, so you're gonna have to go. Well, I can't get the gold. I can't really do anything with that. So that sort of a strategy is a little bit out the window. So I think, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, apart from the Mister just going for actually, there's another strategy that could be pretty brutal as well, which we probably haven't seen. I think maybe the priest got a slight nerf. I can't remember, but I think it was directed at myth units. No, I can't remember. But you could go for a priest siege here against the Gaia as well,
Hmm.
which is a strat we probably haven't seen very much. But it's if your opponent is going to be going for a classical age containment idea, those priests are very, very good against the entirety of the classical age army of Gaia.
Very true. Yeah, that's very fair. Um, yeah, indeed. I guess I mean, I don't really have a comment, honestly. We're just a couple seconds from going into this next game. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Here we go.
All right. No
What are you
worries.
thinking, Boyd?
Well, I'm not thinking very much at the moment. I mean, we're going to be jumping into the game any second now, as we sing in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Isis. His name is TheMista, dropping his dock down, getting his granary up, getting his wood income. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Gaia. His name is Kimo. This is about to be a
Don't
spicy one, Maiden.
Indeed. I really like his little base layout right here. He's got those gazelles right next to his dock, so there's barely any walking time for that little citizen right there. Don't forget that Gaia Forest, when you gather wood from Gaia Forest, gives you more wood income. So he's going to be able to pump out those fishing ships really quickly. Maybe a little bit faster from Mista, get just a teensy bit of an eco advantage. Going for some scouting so far. I don't know. I think I'm most interested in seeing Mista's gold mine positioning here. He has the really nice gazelle patch in his base. Forward gold mine, which I don't think that's going to be a problem, but you never know. You never know. Kimo might pull some cheese out of his back pocket. He is French, so you never know. There's a gold mine over there
Well,
on that other side.
let's just think about this
Ooh,
from the perspective of what.
and the gold mine, back gold mine behind the second
Yep,
town center.
that's
I know we were
pretty
just
brutal.
looking at it. That is pretty good for Mista. So any type of pressure on that, I don't know if how viable that is, Boyd.
Yeah, I totally agree. But let's think about what Kimo could potentially do. If he goes through Oceanus here, gets access to the Carnivora, very, very strong God Bower that can take down a tower. The towers, they're not that strong either. And if the Mister wants to do some sort of fast heroic, naked fast heroic with no defensive units, well, Kimo can just push in there straight away with a bunch of those Momilla and actually be pushing off the gold in the main base here if he kills off that tower. So, Mister does have to be somewhat careful, and Kimo scouted that out already with that forward. I think he scouted out with the Oracle. Maybe we can check his line of sight here and see exactly what he's going to be knowing. But the no, he doesn't. He doesn't see the gold mine, so he's probably not going to be able to rush that strategy out unless he can get a little bit more line of sight with the forward oracles here. But nonetheless, both players off to the races here. They got their docks down, getting that fishing ship shenanigans out. One question that I often get from some players who aren't familiar with mythology, play some of the other Age of Empires games, is do you have to go water? And the answer is basically you don't, but you probably should get fish out most of the time. There are a couple of cheeses in this game that you can pull off and get some wins in, but for the most part, players feel the most safe by just getting out fishing ships and then deciding what they're going to do next. So they're starting to see some relics on the map.
Not a bad one. Heroes regenerate. That one's definitely that's on the Gaia side. That one definitely could. Or wait, no, that's on the. I guess it's in the middle. Does that increase range attack of range? Not bad. So I'd say a couple of these relics are definitely valuable to get, but nothing super game breaking necessarily. A forest on the second town center.
Yeah, this is a strange one right here. I'm not sure what he's planning. Obviously, he wants the town center up. Maybe he's thinking about wedging in a citizen in there so that it doesn't get targeted down by a sphinx or something like that. But we're already seeing the mysteries getting that temple up. It's going to be a late advance time. He doesn't care about this because he's going for a fast heroic. Like, you can tell what your opponent's doing a lot of the time by their advance times. If you see a 4-minute advance time, you know they're either going for a town center or going for a classical fight. If they go for a 5-minute plus advance time, chances are they're going for a fast heroic, just based on that just seems to be what the strategies tend to be, as we see Bast and puts a ton of villagers over onto gold. So maybe I'm wrong on this and he's going to be dropping 2 town centers straight away. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, that second town center, we already saw that there's zebras by it, there's the gold mine behind it, so by all means, grabbing, I don't know if he scouted it necessarily, but that could be a juicy little location to snag. I don't think, boy, I don't think that if I was in the guy's position, going aggressive with an aggressive Carnivora, even if he did scout out that gold mine, I don't know if I would still go for it, especially against ISIS, because ISIS
Yep.
can stop the monuments can stop the Carnivora from
That's
being
totally true.
used. Because the monuments block it, of course, and so even with, it's very juicy, it's very tempting to try and go for that gold mine. I don't know if that would be the way to go necessarily.
Well, I mean,
Anyway,
if we other options though, like we see Kimo, he clearly wants a town center with the Gaia Forest on that second one there, but in this matchup, sometimes just going 2 town center fast heroic against maybe a 1 town center fast heroic from an ISIS player can be a way to go because you're going to get access to the Contarius with big economy, and then you kind of do. I hate the term, but it's kind of popularized in mythology. You can kind of go for a little bit of a cockroaching strategy where you spread your citizens out all over the map, and if your opponent comes in and tries and snipes, tries to kill some of your villages, you're totally fine there.
Here, Joe's.
So Kimo, he's going for the town center. He's got himself a Murmillo out, and he's going to be able to send this priest packing. It's going to be actually a little bit of a challenging one as a Sphinx comes through as well.
I think he's a-okay, preemptively getting that Marmelo hero out. Well done by him. Kicks away the Sphinx. So that TC definitely going up. It's nice that Mista sees it. He's got those obelisks over there to see it. Carnivora on the fishing ships. That's an idea. That's definitely an idea. Carnivora has a nice little bit of range on it, honestly. So it's gonna deny what? I guess maybe only one of those fishing spots, which is a little bit of a bummer for him. But value, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is he's getting a little bit of damage. He forces a cabinet out. That's nothing. This is not doing anything to Mister. He's not upset about this. Maybe his like perfectly constructed build order is going to be 5-10 seconds later. Not going to be a big deal in the slightest. The big fact of the matter is right now, the Mister is not going for a 1 town center fast heroic. I was completely wrong. He's going for a 2 town center fast heroic here, and he is going to be able to get huge amounts of pressure going very, very quickly in this game, especially if Kimo is not going to have any units out to deal with a Ancestor Eclipse on the economy.
You think that's maybe what he's going for? 2TC, fast heroic, still going for the Ancestor's Eclipse instead of going for the speed AE, going for the delayed one? You think that's maybe a bit risky? Maybe Kimo would expect it coming?
Well, I mean, I've seen a couple of the games thus far from TheMista, and he just loves the value that comes from Ancestor Eclipse on the economy. How do you defend it? You don't. You have to just garrison all your villages. If any minions get onto your villages, they're going to be dying. So it's a minute that your opponent's economy is idled, and it's very, very strong. Now, obviously, an Ancestor Eclipse timing attack with a huge amount of military can get a gold star going, but on a map like this with the gold mine behind the town center, it's a little bit more challenging to make that happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to take some time. Both players, again, playing kind of the slow, boomier route. Not super surprising, but it's still going to take a little bit of time to really get a game-ending push. It's going to take time for Mista to build up those number, get Amygdala out, get Siege out, get Heroic in the first place, which, let's see, Kimo, both players are up. We got Nephthys coming in about 30 seconds or so, maybe less than that. And then what is that? Is that... What? I'm not... Which Heroic god is coming in for
That's
Kimo? It's the okay.
Yeah.
The new god portraits, man. They look awesome. I can't
Yeah.
I can't remember all of them off the top of my head all the time. Anyway, okay. Is that surprising to you at all? Not really for me.
No, I mean, I think you have to go Thea here. You get the Stymphalian birds. That's a huge help against Scorpion Men, but also more importantly, getting that Poseidon secret technology to pick off everything. And here's the Ancestor's Eclipse. It's in. There's one Murmillier in the main base. That's not going to be enough. All the citizens pull back. Kimo just has to hit Town Bell. This is what we were talking about before. You just can't. The minions just kill off the hero Murmillo as well.
I
Just
think
so
that- I
much
think-
value.
Well, Kimo it seems like Kimo maybe made a small mistake by it looked like he sent some of his Murmillo forward while the Sphinx passed them by and went into his base. So right at the wrong moment, unfortunately for Kimo, he sent his hero units out. We got the Sphinx hitting on one, we got the minions in the base of the other. There's a Stimper, there's Heroic Age for Kimo. So nice damage here, nice damage. As a god power combination, I mean, it's a big power spike. Was that enough damage? Did he do enough damage here?
Well, I don't know if he's done enough damage here, but what he has done is he has slowed Kimo down completely to a halt. And while this is all going on, he is going through off. Kimo's got 2 minutes now to apply some pressure back onto Mr. before this Thoth pays itself off, because he's going to meteor Kimo. Kimo's going to lose a town center and potentially lose a whole bunch of economy as well. So we'll see if he's going to be able to make it all happen. Plus, you then have to worry about the follow-up behind this, which is whatever the Mr. wants. Valley of the Kings, taking chariot archers, elephants, etc., etc. We'll have to wait and see. Prosperity coming down as well. I love this prosperity from the Mr. Waiting until 10 minutes into the game, he's got himself 19 villages on gold. I mean, if he put like even more onto gold, I'd be even more happy about it. But all too often, I'm going to go on a little quick rant while we're waiting on the next thing to happen. All too often, we see Egyptian players, ISIS players, using prosperity with like 8 to 10 villages on gold. Wait, put more onto gold. Get more resource for it. It's huge. It's fantastic. All right, rant over.
Nice rant. No, the meteor. I had when this game was starting, I was like, I wonder if we're maybe going to see ancestors because of the fish, the boominess potential here. Are we maybe going to see the ancestors eclipse into a meteor? You got me all hyped up on that Ramillo aggression potential. But now seeing it, I think it makes perfect sense here. You slow down Gaia, you force him in his, to be in his base, stay in his base for a while. That gives you plenty of time to jump mythic, even with the longer mythic time. Meteor is brutal, man. He's got his what's his bucket? The priest ready to go, vision ready to go. Meteor is going to be brutal, honestly, on the very condensed base of Atlantean.
Oh, we're seeing Kimo now pushing in, and you see this is when the timing is starting to hit. This is over a minute later than he probably would have been. He probably would have been better off going through Rhea here, actually, so he'd have had Behemoth to actually break through these Migdol strongholds, but in going through Thea, he's got the Stymphalian Bird, which is not going to be that much. He does have a pretty nice Hesperus tree on his town center, which will be blocking that meteor from hitting directly. Maybe it won't. No, it doesn't. It actually kind of hits there anyways. But all the village is going to be, again, idle tier, because Kimo does not want to lose a single one of them. His town center ends up falling. Some villagers are getting taken out, but the majority of them will survive. This is huge for Kimo to keep everything alive after. He's going to get his town center back up. But the follow-up here with Valley of the Kings, I'm sure the Mister's already researched. I missed it on the production panel there, but he's going to start being able to print camel riders as he sees what Kimo's building is majority Contarius and Arcus. This is very, very big for him.
Yeah, we got is it champion or maybe heavy camels first coming in. That was sure he saved all of his villagers or citizens, so very nicely done for Kimo, but that was still a lot of resources down the drain to all those buildings dying from by that meteor. Bravo to Vodka being right as soon as he hit Mythic, bam, instantly into Kimo's base. So shout out. Shout out to our observer, baby. Well done, man.
So next up for Kimo here is to read what the Mister is doing. The Mister is making camel riders. Get some catapulties out. You need to counter your opponent's army composition. You can't just go one unit composition for an entire game and expect to be winning here. We see Phoenix coming in as well. Kimo is well and truly on the back foot. I don't see any of those counter barracks coming up here, as we do have a cheeky carnivore to come through and help out, but the Valiant Bird versus the Phoenix. The Phoenix is going to get so much value here before it does end up falling, and those camel riders now getting champion camel rider too as well to clean everything out, and Kimo is yet again dropping in population very, very quickly.
Smokes, man. He had to have gotten Valley of the Kings, right? There's so many camels. I'm sure he's got 2 Migdols around that secondary gold one, but still, he's got a bajillion camels out. Maybe just gonna finish up this game right now, boy. Holy smokes. Kimo's completely overwhelmed right here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the thing. You can't just let the Egyptian player, the ISIS player, sit back and do this type of thing. Fast, heroic, like answer the clips, fast, mythic. You've got to have a plan to deal with this. This strategy is so absurdly telegraphed, and Kimo, he just did not quite get the memo that it was coming in this game, and he has well and truly on the back foot. His back gold line is pushed off there with TheMista killing off Stinthalion Birds. Everything else got the priests for those Camel Riders just killing everything. He doesn't have to change his unit composition because there's no catapulties out. And Kimo, in the 14th minute of this game, does tap out. And TheMista walks away with a 3-0 sweep, asserting dominance.
Asserting dominance, indeed. I know, by all means, he's definitely the behemoth of the tournament, the final boss of the tournament, and he's really showing it. Honestly, I don't know. Again, I don't. It was Kimo's map pick. Loser picks the god and map and everything. Of course, is god, but it was his map pick, etc. Clearly, he had something up his sleeve, but seems like Mista has sleeves as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 sleeves, not quite. I think we might have a mythological beast there. Maybe 8 arms to begin with, because this man seems to have an answer to everything. I mean,
Yeah, someone check TheMista. Check he doesn't have 4 arms playing. It's against the rules.
no. It's fine because I've witnessed him on LAN. I know how this works. 2 of those arms are smoking cigarettes, so it's totally balanced.
That's fine.
But absolutely phenomenal series out of Mista. Big commiseration to Kimo. I mean, I think luck of the draw thing, obviously at this stage, everyone is challenging, but we just saw why Mista continues to be the biggest threat to anyone in the running. I think in some ways, Recon and Vortex are maybe wiping a sweat from their brow going, okay, little bit less pressure on us because it's difficult to come up against Mista. If there's one man that can, maybe Matreus. I hear that Grass might be giving him a little bit of a challenge there. Currently, that storyline is trekking at 1-1. But let's dissect this a little bit because I think although we did have a stomp, we had a pretty cool stomp. And the thing I want to talk about that I've seen both your DMs, and I know you want to talk about, is Game 2 and how damn much fun Freer is.
Oh, Frere. This god is fun, packed in fun. You see, like, the Inferno god Bowie. You see the upgrades all coming in, all culminating in a gigantic moment where the Norse army just, for the first time ever, absolutely decimates the Egyptian army. You know what I'm talking about, Maiden.
It's just a treat. It's a complete treat seeing the giant explosion. I mean, it speaks for itself on screen.
It's a beauty. Like, I looked at that and I thought to myself, like, damn, you can tell that ability got created after Michael Bay's Transformer movies release, because that is explosions to the extreme, man. I'm excited to see what the devs have cooked up, because obviously we've got to pay tribute, homage to the originals, right? But I'm excited to see completely brand spanking new ideas coming in, because if we're being fair about this, RTSs have come a long way in how many years is it since the original AOM? I think is it 20 years?
2002. So
22 years.
In
Good
fact,
God.
I think the birthday of Myth is October 30th, I think.
Oh, well, we won't be able to.
Don't fact check me.
We won't be able to get a birthday cake for Wololo. That happens at the start of the month this time around. But I mean, absolutely. Like, I love the presence of it. I know there's I've seen debates because obviously some people come from maybe a slower paced game, one where you can't just wipe an entire army. But something I like about it, Maiden, is it kind of feels maybe a little bit overtuned in some area. Like, I got to give it to the Firewall, maybe a little bit too peak. But this idea of scaling repercussions, right? Like, when you are in that age, at that point in the game, it should feel that much easier to lose an army than, say, at 5 minutes in Age 2.